everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence Gardino. The week begins on Monday, September the 21st, with the moon still in intense, more introspective Scorpio. But then around 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, the moon moves into fiery, adventurous, extroverted Sagittarius. Sagittarius is more this optimism out into the world, where Scorpio, when the moon was in Scorpio, it's more like pulling within and retreating. On Tuesday, with the moon still in Sagittarius, the sun is leaving 4 weeks of Virgo and entering into harmonious relational Libra. And on the first day of Libra, this Tuesday, it is the, if you're north of the equator, it's the autumn equinox. And if you're south of the equator, it's the spring equinox. Equal, equinox, equal daylight, equal daylight and nightlight, darkness. And this is a very important time because it's a shift in the seasons. In the northern latitudes, the sun had been, it had peaked at the summertime in the north, where everything was more extroverted, playful, outgoing, out into the world. When the sun moves into Libra, it is when the sun is starting to set and take its journey within, approaching, because in 3 more months it'll be the darkness of the winter. Now, the moon in Sag will also be in harmony with Libra, because it's air sign and fire signs. But the moon in Sag is going to be harmonious with pleasure-seeking Venus. Venus is the planet associated with Libra. Now, this is not going to happen until the mid-evening, around 8:30 p.m. till around 10:30 p.m., where the moon is in harmony with Venus. But that's Pacific time. For the rest of the world, you just might have some sweet dreams, being able to be more relaxed. But if you're on the west coast of the United States, well, it's a Tuesday night, but you still might be having a romantic dinner, just feeling more romantic, sociable. As we get to Wednesday, Mercury, Communication Mercury. Mercury describes what are you thinking about? What are you planning? Mercury is going to be in a conflict, a square to Saturn. This Mercury in hard angle to Saturn, the square or the opposition or the conjunction will only happen 4 times a year. And so Saturn can be this conservativeness or this cautiousness or even being fearful. And with Mercury, this is not a day to be launching new projects, having business meetings, or asking your boss for a raise. Mercury is all that communications, but it feels more restricted and heavy and serious with the Saturn. But it's just energy, and the positive side of the energy is Saturn is this energy of contraction and focus. So Mercury can be when it's connected with Saturn, mentally you can concentrate more. You can study more, focus more. And the downside of that contraction is you could obsess too much on a singular idea. Now, the moon remains in, but optimistic, outgoing Sagittarius, but by 4:17 p.m. Pacific time, the moon now moves into Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is like Saturn. It's cautious. It's calculating. It's more pragmatic energy. And that'll be more harmonious with the Mercury to the Saturn. Now, on Thursday, as Mercury is pulling away from that frustrated, blocked energy from Saturn, now the Mercury is going to be in opposition or confrontation with Mars. Mars is the warrior planet. Mars is impatient and aggressive. But Mars is retrograde now, as it occurs once every 2 years. And so when assertive, impulsive, aggressive Mars is being turned inward, that's the retrograde. It's a lot of frustrated anger. And so there's more tension, irritability, arguments. And Mercury is the planet of communications. And when it's in opposition or confrontation to this retrograde Mars, you have to be careful throughout Thursday of arguments or of making sudden rash decisions. A lot of impatientness. Might have to be careful about accidents because you're so riled up. That might have something to do with Wednesday, when whatever you were hoping and expecting and discussing kept being blocked. So that by Thursday, now you're angry, or now you're really pushing it. And the moon's in Capricorn, fortunately. The moon sets the emotional tone. Capricorn keeps us more grounded, more realistic. Now, when we get into Friday, that Capricorn moon around 9 a.m. to like 11 a.m. Pacific time, it's crossing over Pluto. Pluto is this deep, dark energy. Now, in the positive, moon to Pluto could be this emotional need to go deep. Great for counseling, having an astrology reading, meditation, introspection on the inward. Outwardly, you want to be careful about getting involved with intense power struggles with others. By 2:30 p.m., let's say like from 2 to 4 in the afternoon Pacific time, now the moon is crossing over Saturn, which it does once every 28 days. And there's that your emotional needs. Moon is feeling very contracted or serious with Saturn. And then later in the afternoon, Pacific time, then the moon is in challenging aspect to that retrograde Mars. And then in the mid-evening, Pacific time, now the emotional moon is in conflict with rational communication Mercury. So Thursday could have started triggering some arguments, some stress, some impatientness. Friday, you're still bouncing from, with the moon to this Pluto, to the Saturn, to the Mars, to the Mercury, all in tension. A lot of mood swings, a lot of instability. Fortunately, the moon is in Capricorn, and it keeps us more pragmatic and sensible. Now, as we go into Saturday, the moon will be entering into Aquarius, where Capricorn is more serious and more practical. Aquarius is more idealistic, more humanistic, and wants to hang out with friends and the collective. And it's an air sign in harmony with Libra, an air sign. So Saturday is very favorable for getting involved with groups and organizations, connecting with friends. And by early evening Pacific time, it's triggering Uranus that could bring in a lot of emotional excitement. So a lot of you could be really enjoying your Saturday evening. Sunday, the moon continues in Aquarius, but communication Mercury, that had been in Libra for several weeks, always trying to find a win-win situation, now Mercury has entered into Scorpio for the next 4 weeks. Mercury communicates. Scorpio is always kind of intense and profound. You could have with Mercury and Scorpio for those next 4 weeks overall, great for studying, great for introspection, but getting involved in conversations there's only really kind of deep, profound conversations you're interested. Mercury in Scorpio does not want to bother with idle chit-chat and gossip. It would rather remain quiet. I want to thank you for watching. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.